So welcome back students to another logical learner session, and today we are doing a science video, and we are doing the first chapter for students, that is heredity and evolution. So let us understand the chapter by first understanding what is heredity. So heredity was explained to us by Sir John Gregor Mendel in 1886 by doing experiments on pea plants. So Sir John Gregor Mendel explained us that heredity is the transfer of biological characters, that is genes and DNA, the characteristics of parent from one generation to another. So that is parents give their genetics, that is the genetic material, into their progeny. So let us understand the central dogma of molecular biology. So central dogma of molecular biology explains that the RNA and DNA which is present inside of a cell, it is responsible for the synthesis of appropriate proteins. So these proteins are important for the normal functioning of a body, and these are created by nothing but RNA and DNA. So how does this happen? Let us understand. So central dogma consists of three steps, and the very first step of central dogma is transcription. So how does transcription happens? So this is a normal animal cell. An animal cell in the center contains a nucleus surrounded by endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes, and so on. And the main important part of transcription is messenger RNA, also known as mRNA. Now mRNA contains a codes, and these codes are base pairs, and these base pairs are adenine, uracil, cytosine, and guanine, AUCG. In the DNA, instead of uracil, we have thymine. So this RNA, mRNA, is synthesized inside the DNA, and the protein code information, the code information for the specific protein is copied, and it comes out into the cytoplasm. And in the cytoplasm, this information which is coded on the mRNA, it is read in the pair of three. And this three pairs is known as triplet codon. So mRNA contains thousands of such triplet codons, and this triplet codons, that is the pair of three base pairs, it is read by a transfer RNA. Transfer RNA, it is also known as tRNA. tRNA has an anticodon end, and this anticodon end reads the codon on the mRNA, and it keeps on reading, and this process is known as translocation. So as it goes on reading, it keeps adding a single amino acid, and a long chain of amino acid is added, and they are linked together by the peptide bonds, and which results in the formation of protein. So by translocation, this tRNA creates a long chain of amino acid, which later on synthesizes and creates a new protein which is important for the functioning of the body. So transcription, translocation are the two important steps of central dogma of molecular biology. Now let us move on to the next important topic of this video, that is evolution. Evolution is the formation of new species of plants and animal by a slow gradual change from a very simple organism. So evolution occurred from a very basic single unicellular organism into complicated species, and it occurs 3.5 billion years ago. So in the primitive earth, the environment having organic and inorganic compounds such as these carbon dioxide, ammonia, nitrogen, carbon monoxide, and water, all this came together and formed the first protoplasm, which resulted in the formation of a prokaryotic cell, or the basic cellular organism. And then this unicellular organism later on evolved into a eukaryotic cell, and then multicellular organism, and then over a period of 300 crore years it resulted in the formation of human beings. So evolution is a gradual change and formation of new species from that slow and gradual change. So in order to understand evolution, we have to understand how the theory of evolution was proposed. It was proposed by Sir Charles Darwin when Sir Charles Darwin traveled to the Galapagos Island, and there he made his observation. He wrote all this observation and published in a book called as Origin of Species. So in his book of Origin of Species, Sir Charles Darwin explained how do organisms compete with each other and only the fittest survive. So he explained the theory of natural selection, that the organism who has modifications which are necessary for winning the competition in the environment survives and reproduces. But there were many objections to the theories of Sir Charles Darwin. So at that time there was another theory which was proposed by Lamarck. he explained that morphological changes occur in organism, and those morphological changes only are responsible for evolution, not natural selection. So he, like for example, like if I'm building muscles, so he said that these acquired characteristics will be transferred to the next generation. So these are known as acquired characteristics. But this theory was disproved because acquired characteristics do not transfer. And still, there are many people who protest against evolution. They argue that this theory is not correct. And the next question that most of the people ask about evolution is the question of speciation. How does a new species gets created from a original species? Species is a group of organisms that can reproduce among each other. So that is known as a single species. So a new species from a former species can be created because of a mutation. So when a change in the DNA occurs during copying or any random change that is known as mutation, it can cause the formation of a new species, or there can be a geographical barrier between the two species. So both the species are not able to interact with each other, the same species gets separated. So over a period of time, that is 10 years, 20 years or 30 years, these species will have slow gradual changes, and they will be completely different, and they will not be able to reproduce with each other. So speciation, a new species is created because of a genetic, reproductive or a geographical change among an original species. So that is the answer how new species being created. And there are many evidence of evolution which proves that evolution is a theory, and it's a correct theory. The first evidence is the morphological evidence. So if we see in the nature, there are many plants and animals which have similar structure. Like for example, leaf venation. All the different species of plants, they have similar leaves. The characteristics and the structures of leaf are similar. The second is anatomical evidence. There are similarities even in animals of the structures which are different in structure, but they have similar function. These are known as analogous organs. So these organs may have evolved differently, but they all perform the similar function, so they have evolved commonly. The third is vestigial organs. There are many vestigial organs which are degenerated or are useless now, but they had a use previously for us. Like for example, wisdom teeth in humans were used to digest plant tissues, but now we no longer need them, but they still exist in us. And there are many examples. And the fourth is paleontological evidence. The preserved underground animals, we can study the remnants, and that is known as fossils. So by studying the fossils, we can determine the age of the fossil, and we can gather the information that how the organisms have evolved. And we have studied that how vertebrates evolved from invertebrates in the beginning. And the fifth proof that we can have is embryological evidence. So if we compare the initial stages of all the embryo, so we can see that there is similarities in all the organisms that have evolved from a common ancestor. So all these proofs give us a strong belief how evolution happened. So this is the proof that we have. And this brings us to the end of the video. I hope you liked the video and you understood most of the basic concepts here. And this video was brought to you by Logical Learners channel. I hope you liked it, and if you liked it, press on the like button and try to share it as much as possible among your friends. And don't forget to subscribe the channel if you want more similar videos.